You guys, I did something that I usually regret. I didn't just sell one rental property, I sold 2 rental properties, and they were really good deals. Hi, my name is Darren, and I own over 100 rental properties. The biggest regret that I have is selling some of those properties. So that begs the question, why did I just sell 2 really good properties? So this is actually going to be the first video in a 3-part series where I go over the 2 properties that I sold and how I exchanged them into a really large commercial deal. In this first video, I'm going to go over the triplex that I bought. I actually worked on it for over a year, and then we're going to get into the numbers of what it would have been if I had kept it. I initially got this duplex under contract and I converted it into a triplex. I added a unit on the bottom. This was from a wholesaler that was primarily out of Oklahoma City, and they had just gone to the Tulsa market. So they weren't super familiar and their buyers list wasn't that large. I got really lucky because I was actually bidding against multiple people on this project. But I made sure that my offer was really strong, making sure that I would purchase it. So I put down a non-refundable and a really large earnest money deposit. And then I also had references so that they knew that I was a legitimate buyer. They were asking $40,000 and I bought it for $35,000. With all the closing costs, the total was $37,000. Now, this property was really weird. Like I said, it was a duplex. It also had a garage so that I would convert the garage into a studio apartment. The front house was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and it was really weird. It was part crawl space, part basement, and then actually had a slab in the back. Detached back unit actually had its own alleyway access, which is really nice, but it was a garage that they added onto, and then they also made a second story. That was a 2-bedroom, 1 and 1/2 bath. And then the garage space was just open at the moment, but I knew that I could probably convert that into a 3rd unit, making it a triplex, not a duplex. From the get-go, this project was really hard. When I first bought it, I didn't know that the city of Tulsa actually had a demolition case against it. And so my plan was that I was going to fix up the front house, get a tenant in there, then fix up the back one, get a tenant in there, and then convert the studio in my own time. So that allows me to daisy chain. It also brings in a little bit of income to help each process out. The city, like I said, had a demolition case on it, and so they wouldn't release that unless I got a certificate of occupancy, and they didn't want to release that until all the units were done. So from the get-go, my plan was out. We also had a lot of trouble because there were some homeless people, and they would break in and they would want to stay, and they actually the house was well known for being vacant, so even when we started working on it, we had a lot of trouble with that. But to make a long story short, it took us a whole entire year to convert each unit and make that 3rd one too. So let's jump into the numbers. So let's jump right in. Like I mentioned before, we bought this property for $35,000. With the closing cost, we ended up spending $37,000. Our renovations were really extensive. We went through 2 general contractors, and then we had to take it back in-house. I made a lot of mistakes, different things along those lines. We went way above our budget at $48,000. Our carrying costs were actually pretty minimal. I had bought the property cash, so all I had to pay for was insurance, taxes, and the utilities. But if you were to get a loan on it, I rounded up to $15,000. So I made it nice and easy for us. The total cost was $200,000. Like I mentioned before, mine was a little bit lower just because of the hard money. When I initially underwrote the deal, I thought our rental rates would be a lot lower than what we received. For Unit A, which was the 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house on the front, we actually have it listed and rented out for $1,050 per month. We were initially thinking like maybe $800 to $900. For the back unit, we got $950 per month. And we were thinking around the same thing, about $800 to $900. And for the studio, $700 per month. Now the studio, that is all bills paid. So we do have to pay some extra expenses, but still For a 200, 300 square foot studio, $700 a month, that was a really great price. So total, $2,700 per month in rent. Now, what I do is called the BRRRR strategy. It stands for buy, renovate, rent out, refinance, and repeat. So if I was to keep this one, we'd be at the refinance stage right there. I'd want to take the whole amount of money back. So we spent 200K, I would want to take back 200K and loan against the property. So $200,000 at 6% interest for 20-year amortization. The loan payment would be $1,432 per month. After that, some of the other expenses including taxes, insurance, taxes. Once again, we bought it for really low, so the taxes were pretty low at $102 per month. Insurance, if I was to guess, would be about $100 a month. Now, we have some other costs for the expenses, including vacancies, maintenance, and CapEx. So I put all three at 5% each because they were brand new properties. So with a brand new property, usually the vacancy is low, and I have that at $135 a month. Same thing for the maintenance. We did have a couple little fixes here and there towards the beginning. This door didn't shut right. We had to snake out a drain. Same thing for the capital expenditures. We had put on brand new roofs, brand new HVAC. We did whole new plumbing, etc., etc. Now, once again, we did have a all bills paid. And so I'm estimating high, but for a 200 square foot, 300 square foot studio, I think it was going to be anywhere from $50 to $75 a month that tenant would use. And then afterwards, we have the property management. I have my people in-house, so it's going to be a lot less than 10%, which is what I budgeted for that. $270 per month. So total expenses come out to $2,384 per month. So using simple math, 2,700 minus 2,384 equals 316 per month. So that is our cash flow. And once again, we didn't have any money put into the deal. So technically that would be infinite cash flow. Not only that, is that if I just used the simple 1% rule, we would still have $70,000 of equity, $316 per month in cash flow with none of our money. That's a really good deal. After looking at the numbers, you might think I'm crazy. And I kind of think so too, because that was a really good deal. But once again, this is the first video in a 3-part series where I actually go through the whole entire process of how I exchanged the triplex, the single family, into a large commercial deal. So stick around and follow along.